to talk about Jason Kaplan, and that hashtag being Esl Pro League. I think I'm in the mood to see maybe some of your setups. What are you playing on? Let's see how you're watching the game. Maybe you got 15 monitors hooked up and you're just watching everybody's individual, you know, something like that. Oh my God, is that the freeze time coming to an end? No way. It's happening.
I'm knocking on wood here. I think this desk is made out of wood.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. Anyway, pistol round underway. It's Heroic versus the Bad News Bears to start things off the ESL Pro League season of 14. Pistol round on the cards, and a little bit of POV there from Junior. Right now, a lot of mid-control. Jonesy leading the pack here towards middle. Cadian going to be waiting underneath. Has the info. Spots one. Looks for the second. Easy kills for Cadian. Takes down Shake and Junior. Swisher with a response from the side of BNB. But it does look like a free bomb plant over there towards the A site.
So Cadian ends things off in the last season of Pro League with a win and a clutch, and then he comes out starting season 14 with 2 quick kills in middle, and it's going to be very hard for Bad News Bears to hold on to this, but Swishers needs to win this fight up against Tess's, and he's unfortunately going to lose out. Yeah,
Swisher drops that fight. That was a big one to hold on to. Now just the retake, and pretty much all up to par, up to snuff, and standard stuff there from the side of Heroic. You're going to go ahead and grab this pistol round. A plant by BNB does give them a little bit of a cushion to relax on in the form of monetary gain, but overall, first round going the way Heroic. So, Bad News Bears, not really a whole lot to go off of there, but just a little something.
I feel like they kind of got countered there a bit. I mean, you had Cadian and one more drop into underpass, which kind of perfectly countered the 3-2 split towards the A side with the 3 players pushing up middle. And when Cadian hits shots like this, not even a shot fired back against him, it's kind of hard to really do much against this. But like I said, getting some money on their side, we're going to see how it's going to work out here in the second round. But I feel like we had some questions coming to this, so whether or not Heroic would be a strong team yet again off the back of Cologne. And only been 1 round, but still looking very good here.
Yeah, M4's out. They're not going to waste any time on the side of Heroics down. Putting a couple rounds up there towards top mid, and they'd be right for doing so. Cadian, very aggressive peek, ends up faltering to Swisher's AK. Refresh sort of salvages the round with 2 frags there. And if Shake can do something with that AK, it might give a little bit of a wiggle room for for Bad News Bears. But as it stands, 4v3 and just 2 pistols on the side of BNB. Not really any map control taken. A little bit of presence they showed there. And Jonesy towards the B halls didn't really manifest into much. So they're going to have to recollect, reconsider, read some litter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
I did like Jonesy, though. At least pulled refresh back off a short to make sure they didn't have those 2 players in middle to attack against them if they wanted to gain some ground, which it seems like they've been able to with Jonesy pushing through underpass. But again, you got refresh just up close and personal with the SMG. You got the M4 at Tessa's, and no one's even looking towards them. They're actually going to start to make some noise, but spots them out. That's the AK now down, and Junior's going to respawn. He's going to need a hell of a lot more than this to close it out.
Yep, and it's just not on the cards now, is it? A second round there for Heroic. They're even going to salvage one of those AKs that BNB so graciously donated to them.
I am curious, though, for BNB with Junior. Are they going to try to heavily invest into an op for him quite consistently in this series and throughout the rest of Pro League for them? Obviously, I kind of mentioned before, for me, very explosive opper, very consistent opper as well. And I feel like you're almost going to need that here on a map like Mirage, especially against a player like Cadian. But some quick aggression. Jonji does get up in towards middle. Looks like he might even want to go in towards connector here. He might catch out Stout. He's not even looking towards him. He gets the kill with the flashbang.
God.
A little bit ugly there, but he gets the kill nonetheless.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but they'll take that frag. Gives them connector control. Begins to open the keys here to the door that is A site. Just pushed up way close on A ramp. He's going to get caught out through the smoke with Jonji. And that is the open door. However, that bomb completely in control by Tessis. That's really not part of the plan here if you're Bad News Bears. Jonji going to try to recollect it, and he's not going to be successful. He goes down to the hands of the AK on Tessis, and he's got it locked up. 3v2. How could Bad News Bears lose this round? How could they do it?
Well, they're living up to their own name. Bad News here. Having such a good situation for them, having the A site taken, but the bomb nowhere near them. Cadian comes up with 1. Tessis is going to have 2 players here. Might get caught looking the wrong direction. Gets out Spongy. That's the AK now down. And it's just Swisher by himself. At least they don't know where he's going to be, but he's going to have to connect these shots. Can at least rescue the AK and potentially pull something off here.
I feel like maybe he populated on Tessis' radar because if you look at Cadian, he was just sprinting over there towards that A site. They know he's over there in the spawn. Bomb has been collected, albeit 1v2 for Swisher. He's got 2 flashes and a hope and a dream. that he doesn't become this meme going into the B site. Entrenched this Tessus on 41 HP. And time is dwindling, ticking away on that clock. Just 15 seconds remaining.
He's going to have to make some noise. He's going to have to run for it. Tess is just going to be waiting. This should be a clean kill coming in for him.
He did. Yep.
Peekaboo.
Definitely that. Heroic starting the game off like we kind of thought they would. 3-0. B&B having that A site in that pass round really didn't come to fruition now, did it?
I want to give him like a little bit of a positive note though. Like Janji looked really good, just rushing straight to the connector. There's a flashbang to open things up on Astound, so he got eliminated. And then the aggression continuing out of him, push even further into the A site, catching refresh off, I believe. And they had the A site completely taken. I think it was Cadian sitting back towards CT spawn. But unfortunately, I don't know why the bomb was over there. Maybe they didn't expect to get so many kills so cleanly. And hopefully they can learn from that experience. And well, now Cadian is not looking good for Bad News Bears. A great flash though, yet again.
Up close and personal, Jonesy with the MAC-10 running it down. He's going to continue his warpath, trying to make his way up connector.
They know he's there?
I'd say they might have an indication, especially after that nade comes through. Nonetheless, Stown holds the line there towards jungle. And really, they've got Bad News Bears bottled up in this choke point of middle, towards the connector, towards this catwalk. Refresh, mopping them up with 2. And Tessa's going to be there to back them up in case things get a little out of control, like they're about to. When you go through the window, and Stown is waiting right there.
Drops the bomb into window. Like, I surrendered, don't attack, and he gets eliminated. I mean, Janji left to himself. He's got, quite a few kills. He's got 4 kills for himself, but I don't know if you can depend on him to open things up with what he's been able to do so far in these last 2 rounds in a row. But really no hope for them here in this round in a 1-on-3, especially with the bomb no longer in their hands.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and toss it out there. I'd say this is more improbable than Cadian's clutch last season. A little bit of spray there on the shush. He takes it down. Business as usual. Jonesy falls 4-0. We're looking at Heroic leading the way thus far. But there's money in the pockets of the Bad News Bears. Junior's picking up that AWP. Looking to change the storyline up here a little bit. Former Furia player. Now finding himself on B&B.
I'd say B&B have been doing a great job of just knowing how Heroic are playing this map. That's 2 rounds in a row. They've been able to catch the initial frag out with just a flashbang, and Janji was able to lead the charge. Again, you see him being the forward man for his team, trying to open things up, and his team is, I guess in general, kind of assisting him. But like you mentioned, Junior on the op, up against Caden on the AWP as well. This is where my eyes are mostly going to turn to here in this round, to see if Junior can kind of make a name for himself here at the moment. The newest addition for Bad News Bears, and he's going to have the toughest time to do so as well.
Yeah, Junior posted up at the op top middle, waiting for someone to get a little overzealous there. That someone might have been Stown, but playing a little bit more cautiously. And to his benefit. Double A ramp set up here from the side of Heroic. We're towing the line. And so far, no damage exchanged from either side. It's the waiting game as we tick it on down to the 1-minute mark. Nades coming out there from the connector. We're going to get a smoking connector as well, coming off a catwalk from Cadian. Shush knows you're there, Spongy. And now he knows you're not there. That's 2 kills from the side of Heroic. Nothing thus far, just a little bit of damage on Astound. But they have connector control. They've tried to work their way up into jungle. There goes the first kill. Refresh, the first to fall. The first victim. It's Bad News Bears try to wiggle their way into this bomb site. Jonesy with another. That's going to help the war effort considerably. Tessus looking on from the ticket booth, but Junior pretty much cooped up with the bomb stuck here on the side of A ramp. That creates for a little bit of a pickle. 30 seconds, just under.
So difficult too, because Cadian, he's going to be holding towards short to watch connector, though. They've actually completely in wide view of this one. Got Tessa's back in towards C2 trying to cover off the flank here for Shush on ramp. He's going to come down and Tessa's hitting these shots, and he gets the first as well. The push is going to come through, and Junior's going to fall, and Shakazula left to himself, and he's going to die. And unfortunately, Bad News Bears at the back of Janji open things up with those 2 kills. He's not able to salvage that round.
Yeah. Big yikes for the start of Bad News Bears here. Don't worry. I know everybody in the world is worried about our Sponge Machine okay? My God, what's going on here? They'll be back very shortly. I can almost guarantee that, but I can't quite. Looks like a little A set piece here from the side of Bad News Bears. AK in the hands of Jonesy, and everybody else rocking some upgraded pistols. It's 3 Deegs and 1 Tech 9. So the set piece will be on A, and so far it's going to be Shush and Cadian to try to lock this down. Cadian looking on from the ticket booth with AWP. Should be that first line of contact, and maybe Shush can swing. But here we go. Nades are out. Noise is up. Cadian, blind, hits the shot on the Spongy. And there we go, knocking him down like dominoes.
Big kill, actually, out of Cadian there. If he doesn't save his teammate's life, he would have lost control of ramp. He couldn't watch towards apartments, at least cleanly. Looking to clean up these last few kills. And another headshot comes through, leaving it all on Junior in the 1-on-4. And, well, Heroic starting things off here in Season 14 with a 6-0 lead.
Yeah. It's like we all expected. Also, I've just seen the wild Jason Moses O'Toole walking around here. Shout out Lil Momo one time, wherever he's watching Onward in this building.
It's going to get really confusing having two Jasons on the show.
Two Jasons on the same desk.
Both equally handsome, same amount of hair.
What's wrong with Jason's hair?
Nothing. Looks good.
Swisher. Mega Brain running up catwalk, catches them with their pants down, but unfortunately for him, Refresh is there to salvage the situation. Stown taking out Jonesy as well. Just 3 alive and barely that on Sheikh Azula. I say that, he falls immediately. An AWP from Junior puts just 1 on the board for BNB. It's not gone well here for the start. Perhaps Junior can edge his way out and find something from Tetris, but Cadian creeping his way back up to look over this A bomb site. He's not going to be alone. Stown in the connector side. Oh, they definitely heard you now, Junior.
Yeah, Stown waiting to just pounce whenever Cadian spots out a player as well. Flashbang comes through out. Junior gains some ground here, but again, Stown just playing ever so passive. They realize, I mean, it's 4-on-2. We don't need to rush things. Junior's going to miss the shot, allowing Stown to get out. Cadian, what a flick out of him. And he's all in a Junior with the op yet again. And, well, that's 7 rounds straight now for Heroic. And I'm not trying to pretend to be an analyst here because I'm in no way near as good as Moses. Not even close, not even on the radar. But I almost want to say that, like, we've seen Jonji be the real focal point for his team, the one to lead the charge. Flashbang's in to assist him. I almost want to see something similar happen to Junior to allow him to be that explosive opera I've seen him be in the past. But again, the newest addition, how much time have they really been able to work with him on the team? Are they even able to play around him in that kind of sense? It's a lot of questions in the air, and the only answers we're really getting at the moment is that Bad News Bears in this first game aren't looking too hot.
Yeah, they're going to go for that first timeout pretty early on, which is rightfully so. I mean, you're down 7-0, right? Like, you want to try to slow things down, maybe change up the pace a little bit, because right now, Heroic are running the game. That's pretty easily put, pretty easily said as well. Tess is sitting on 10 frags. And if I look over there on the side of BNB, it's not necessarily the same story whatsoever. Jonji closest with 6, and we're out of freeze time again. No buy this round. I can imagine BNB either come out with some super cool eco strat, or they were just talking about the next gun round. Molotov off connector and begin to take a posture here in middle. No one looking on from the window. Stown, though, just at the top of con on the A side. He's going to be able to put some damage down should they try to rush through a smoke or get cheeky with it, as they would say.
I think that's the Will Smith's new single coming out later on this year.
Cheeky with it.
Yeah.
Well, Swisher is about to get his cheeks checked. And he's not the only one. Junior Shake also going down. Spongy, there really wasn't a hope in the world for you there, buddy. That's going to be another round for Heroic. Easy does it. Easy as that. 8-0.
Thing is, like, I really wonder how much different this game would be if we think back to one of those earlier rounds. I think one of the first rounds, Bad News Bears were looking fantastic, where the bomb was down back in T-spawn. If they did have that plan, if they did have that victory, I wonder if they'd be able to put up, you know, quite a few rounds here and actually eliminate this kind of lead Heroic does have. But obviously, what's in the past is in the past, and they have to regroup here. They're, again, going to use the op on Junior. Looking like to put him over towards Palace to open things up, it seems. But I want to say, it doesn't seem like Cadian's giving him, or really anyone on Heroic's giving him many angles to really use. I mean, this round, of course, as I mentioned it, he does give an angle here as he peeks in from connector, but they're going to go quick. They're hitting his A site fast, and Stoud, he's the only one really there to defend with Shush.
Yeah, not for long. Shush falls. Cadian picks up an ADP, looks onward into the Palace, finds a quick kill on the Junior. So that's the Palace presence gone for BNB, but they do have the site. They are going to get a bomb plan out of this. Steps in the right direction. Stown and company looking on. Trapped behind smoke. Swisher takes a shot there on a refresh, doesn't land it, and that creates a bigger problem. 4v3 on the retake. Heroic. Just 2 smokes for utility. All 4 players with kits, so that's really not a problem either. Jonji and Shake set up for a trade here. Shake gets the first one. Tessis onto Jonji. Does back Shake Zula back up into sandwich there. And from the looks of it, if they don't start to get a move on, this could be a problem. Big spray from Spongy, takes down the first, looks to get the diffuser, doesn't find him. Cadian finishes it out, and a defuse comes in, putting a 9th on the board for Heroic.
Some progress, at least, for Bad News Bears. I think that was their first plant the entire T-half so far out of the 9 rounds we've had played. Again, looking pretty decent, but that linchpin point of CT spawn just really putting some frustration to them, having to change up their angles quite a bit here. And obviously when Refresh can win out some duels, Testis as well, open things up. And of course, Cadian taking away Junior out of Palace right off the bat once they got in the site, just really eliminated a lot of the points they could use to lock some things down. But again, I mean, at least they're improving here for Bad News Bears. At least they got the bomb down.
Yeah.
It's not going to be enough to beat the likes of Heroic. What you said, Heroic, then Vitality, then Astralis coming up back-to-back.
As long as everybody's having a good time. That's what it's all about, I think.
Who wouldn't be having a good time with us casting?
Well, I could name a few people. I could name roughly 20K or so. Nonetheless, timeout has come to an end. Bad News Bears having burnt through 2. They're going to be going into this round with another bye. AWP in the hands of Junior. Not sure where he's going to elect to start things off here. But based on the spawn, it looks like an A-ramp pick. So let's take a look-see, shall we? Junior, hard charging up there. He's not going to be alone. Another AWP in sight, finds the head of Cadian as Cadian dumps his Molotov, tries to back away. That's the A site open for now, but B&B not really ready to capitalize on that, much less be in position to do anything about it. Mid, not even a contest here for the side of Heroic. They have full mid control, and B Hall's currently the port of call for the Bad News Bears.
A big info play, too. I think at a refresh there, pushing up towards middle, because they were rotating players over towards the safe side with Cadian going down, but the information gained, they're going to be able to stack up towards this B star, at least rotate in. Hopefully Testis can stay alive for him, but he's going to fall. Refresh is not able to quite hit a shot here from Catwalk. But it's still, Shush able to close out one. Refresh does secure one for himself as well, and Jonji just trying to hit these shots, man. Down to the 2-on-2, and minute in time to play with.
Junior on the AWP back of the site is going to go try to grab that bomb. Didn't see the player coming through smoke, so that's going to be a big problem. Stowner and Shush do not want to let them plant this bomb. No mercy, no quarter given. Junior not up for hitting the shot, and neither is Jonji. What was probably the closest round there for the side of B&B. Spirals quickly out of control, and it's Heroic to put double digits up. No response from B&B just yet.
I mean, to be fair to them, like, would you really expect them to not have more players towards A? I mean, as we saw, fantastic shot at Junior. If he continued to push, you would have the site completely open. And then they get the kill on Tessis, who was like the lone defender, but not able to rotate their players in time. Able to get that bomb down for the post plan. And as you mentioned, not seeing that first player pushing through the smoke definitely caused them some problems. And you can see some frustrations in their eyes as well.
I'm thinking that's a camera thing from what I just saw, or otherwise, he's like slowly turning into a cartoon. I can't really tell. It's one of the two.
Tough times here. I mean, Jonji's on 8 kills. I believe he's leading his team. Yeah, we see 4 other players at 3 kills apiece. You look at the side of Heroic, and I mean, Stown's on 12, Testis on 13. I mean, Shush, I think he's only on 6, but he really hasn't had to get many kills here to win these rounds.
Just in case you forgot, this is the pick of Bad News Bears. It's not an ideal start for your T side on your map pick. That much I can rest assured. Refresh taking a quick peek there in the middle, but again, here we go with the B hit for the side of B&B. They're up close. It's about to get personal. Tessis toeing the line in the site. Refresh will be there to back him up. All 4 players for B&B stuck inside of those halls right now. They can't get out. That Molotov's going to trap him in as well. Refresh mopping him up. Shake, not a shot in the world to make that one happen. It's just Spongy and Junior. And the nades never quit. The utility never stops for Heroic.
Just not able to get out of apartments. Heroic now close out their 11th, making it look all too easy here. And well, Bad News Bears, they got to dig deep here. Maybe turn the page and find some good news, because it's not looking too good for them at the moment.
But really, who turns pages anymore, you know, right? Like, newspapers. Is this becoming archaic technology? I don't know. But
well, I think for reading a book, I always like to have like an actual book,
like
in
a
my
hard
hands.
copy, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Newspapers, I always hate. You get so much ink on your hands, they get all dirty. Just used for firewood, I guess.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fires, there's Tessis trying to light one up there in the middle. It's going to be Shake that responds. And here we go. 2 picks for B&B. They've started to open that doorway into the B site. Closest on the call is going to be Cadian standing in a Molotov. With a displace. That op's going to be pulled off the shot, or off the line there for just a second. Smokes are going to land just in time. One Molotov coming out there to try to thwart a plant. It's done just that. Plenty of time, though. So much that Heroic even second-guessing, thinking maybe, hey, are they going to go away? They're going to come from the back lines, man? Are they in the window room? No, they planted the bomb. And so far, marginal success here for the Bad News Bears.
Did they go full, like, Californian surfer there?
Hey, man. I don't know, dude, but, like, I think they're going to go B.
Oh, my God. I thought you said earlier you weren't good at accents.
I'm not. I don't really know where I was going with that one. Nonetheless, it is smelling like a Bad News Bears first round. So, don't call it a comeback. There it is. Stown is going to be waiting for him to exit the apartments. Almost lights up one. Doesn't seem to line up. Cadian will hold on to that AWP. Still plenty of money for the side of Heroic, so it's not like, you know, they're in dire straits by any, you know, stretches the imagination here. Whereas if you're Bad News Bears, you just won a round and you might have survived with 3 weapons. Still got some players on some pretty low cash, so
yeah,
not a whole lot to write home about.
It's just, it's unfortunate that it feels so one-dimensional out of Bad News Bears here on Mirage so far. Most of the success they've had is just these quick, aggressive, flashy plays. You rush in towards apartments. You rush in, if you're John G, in towards middle into connector. Like, that's Junior on A ramp a couple of rounds prior. But that kind of thing isn't going to work when Heroic's just like, okay, we'll just look to expect it more, play a little bit more passive, and we'll just beat them at their own game and don't let them be aggressive. And I mean, good flashbang through, but again, gets eliminated completely off the face of the map here. It shuts down any sort of B pressure they did have. And, well, Bad News Bears, off the back of their first round, not sporting too well here in the second.
So I like what's happened over here for Heroic, right? They've elected to pull out a double op. Stown taking his over towards the B side. They were getting pressured on B just a little bit in the past 2 rounds from the Bad News Bears, and, well, he's able to put it to work. Tessis, though, is about to do some work of his own, hiding in the smoke and gets sniffed out by Sheikh Zula. Now a real Aki Momo here for the side of Heroic. They need to reposition themselves. Try not to give up this B site again. Refresh doing his best to make sure that's not the case. Down on the case as well. Jonesy with a nice shot.
Oh.
Nice headshot at that. Refresh tucked into the back of the site. The bomb is going to be finding its way into the site itself. And now all 3 remaining members up here are for Bad News Bears. Well, not exactly how we saw that one going. Refresh is good for 1. But a 2v2, Cadian and Shush versus Junior and Spongy. Not to be confused with Sponge A or Sponge. Totally different. Totally different. Looking on from Catwalk, Cadian, AWP. Gonna take a peek, maybe get the first frag out. But Junior close with the shotgun op approach. You do love to see that. How's it gonna play out? He does take down Cadian on the swing. Shush with the trade. Now a 1v1. Spongy, half health. Shush just about at half health, and it's Shush that comes out on top. Got the kit, and there shouldn't be any problems right there. Might even save an op out of it. 12-1, ladies and gents. And we are just getting started.
Not a terrible comeback, though, for Bad News Bears, considering they lost 1 to Stown right off the bat from that op play. The unfortunate part was they didn't expect 2 players to be coming in from Catwalk. He saw a player inside constantly looking up towards apartments here just to make sure. And Refresh, I mean, this position, they should have known he was here. He killed the flank. He killed Sheikh Zula coming in from window. But not able to, I guess, close him out early enough as he was able to secure the first kill. Again, quick play coming through, trying to take that middle control here. John G leading the charge. Not sure which direction he's going to go just yet, as things have been completely smoked off. And it looks like they're trying to get him in towards connector yet again. But Cadian this time has taken up Palace with the AWP. Junior just waiting to go for the peak.
Well, Spongy, you tried. It's like that Bart Simpson handing the cake over. Nonetheless, Jonesy unaware of Tessis inside the ladder room. That's going to be him meeting his demise. Now, the round had just started, and we are already looking at Bad News Bears minus Spongy and Jonesy. Swisher and Junior on the double op setup. There's a response to that in the form of Stown and Cadian on a double op setup. At 12-1, you pretty much say, you know what? Perhaps we pull out some tricks of our bag.
And they're trying something different again, really banking on the aggressive plays. Like having double ops with John G going very aggressive in towards middle like that, I'm not sure how I necessarily feel about it. So with double ops, typically play a little bit more passive, look for those peaks, looks for those picks. I mean, obviously, if you look at the other side of this coin, if John G was successful, this could look like a pretty clean round for Bad News Bears. But they're still going to run into 3 players at the same site. Quick rotate available out of Tessas. Even Stown as well, playing extremely defensive towards the B side, and Refresh, he's just ready to go.
30 seconds on the clock when they start their hit here towards this A site. Just those 3 members remaining and in a double op trying to take A site. It's not ideal. It's not the most optimal, especially when you think of just how sweaty these angles that Heroic are holding. That's going to be the save call right there easily for the side of BNB. They don't want to go into this next half with less than 2. And I suppose this is how you do that.
Yeah, no point to commit these double ops when you got that final round to go here in this first half. And they didn't have a Molotov to clear out any of those angles. I do like that position on the Refresh, considering the amount of time left and knowing that they're low on money, low on utility most likely. Should be a relatively easy position to take, and if they Molotov it, then that's a Molly. That's not going to go anywhere else.
It's not gone well here in this first map thus far. 13-1. Last round of this first half. Second half, we're going to be joined by Sponge and Machine. Looking forward to that.
Sponge, not Spongy. Right.
Yeah, man. Junior, nice little boost over here. They're going to get mollied back just a little bit. Trying to take an A ramp peek. And meanwhile, nobody really wants to play the mid game. In this case, it's going to be a nade dump right out there on the B site. From the side of BNB, who, in terms of map control, they don't have anyone mid. No one's really done anything on A ramp. Of course, Heroic keeping it smoked off. And tightly contested is kind of what you would expect. Bomb going back towards A.
Interesting that Jonji's the one to actually take up the op. He's going to spot out the barrel of Cadian. Not sure he's going to be gifted into angle. He's going to have to take this one himself, but he still has to worry about windows. I don't believe there's a smoke in there. He's going to come around the corner, sees Cadian retreating away, and hits the clean shot.
Right in the back.
Exactly what they needed, though, to potentially take a second round here.
Shush might have other plans, because he's going to go ahead and take down Swisher. Looks for the second kill inside a sandwich. Does it on the Shake. 3v3. And BNB have put themselves between a rock and a hard place. One player in Palace. Bomb on A ramp. In the hands of Junior. And again, a double op setup where they're trying to make things work. Tessa spots out this player in Jonesy, trying to get some leeway into the B site, and simply nothing he can do about it. Tessa's just waiting it out, dumping some utility, realizes this could very well be him walking into this op angle. No need to die with all that utility. Massive waste. No plant thus far. Stown looking on from jail. Junior takes down Tessus, 2v3. First op shot by Stown missed. Now they know exactly where he is. He rang the alarms. Junior got his bell rung. And in the meantime, a Deagle comes out for Stown. Jonesy falls. And now Spongy, Vishush, and no plant. No way, Jose. That's going to be in the first half. 14-1, Heroic.
And glitches to get ourselves kicked off here, but just getting that teething issues out of the way. And it looks like we'll have a couple of rounds here, Chad, just to test out those microphones.
It wouldn't be Counter-Strike without a technical issue with the players, with the broadcast, but we're here, and hopefully you can hear us. 14-1, 1x bet on the top of your screen right there, and as you'd imagine, this one should be short work. Jonji charging up middle. Found a couple frags out early, but can't convert onto Cadian, and that one right there is going to sting.
He was pulling out his nades. He still gets the better of him. Drops the flame. Sheikh Zula's got a lot to do and has found just the one. 3v4 made quickly into a level pegging state of play. Junior and Spongy left to play, and now on the reload, Tessus will fall, dink down on the Glock and finishes the job, puts it all onto Junior. Both of them are tagged up here. He has real opportunity to finish it. Bomb on the back of that tagged up player. Stown looking to retreat. If he could hit him now, the bomb's loose and will force Cadian to commit towards that kitchen. Spotted. Gets the info as well. Junior has Kevlar. Everything indicates this should be the end of Cadian, and it should be BNB. Oh. Very sharp from Cadian. He starts the round and finishes it.
Yeah, it might be bed and breakfast for Bad News Bears here today. This one's going to be over very quickly. Now, there is a second map to come, but optimism? Outlook cloudy. That's what the 8-ball says, as Nuke is up next. Bit of a tech scenario just called here.
Pulling out his Molotov, turns around, a full 180 in return. Sheikh Zula would have loved a second on this exchange as well, but it felt like Heroic's just trades were far too even. Losing Tessus did make things awkward for a second, but Cadian, look at that. Poised, paused, and a perfect click of that USP. Puts it on 15. Heroic looking to finish this one nice and quick.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough. Cadian came past my stream a couple of days and played some pugs with me.
Nice.
And it's just, you know, you're in the server. He's doing those Heroic mid-round calls. He's a very positive lad right there. So I can see why Heroic are chugging along nicely here today. One of the problems, though, I suppose, for Heroic throughout this event is we all know the Hunden situation. It's very, very messy, a bit like my 16-year-old self's bedroom. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they progress going forward, what the workload's going to look like now, if they've brought someone in to help with it, because we know that they had Robbie there when they won the last Pro League season, but not necessarily a coach of the team, right? More of a motivational type element. Here's that lovely music that we have for everybody, just the elevator tunes.
Well, so far, Tessus hasn't had a great track record. Over the course of 16 rounds of Counter-Strike, he's spilt coffee on his keyboard, replaced his keyboard, and now broken another keyboard, potentially. So we're on potentially keyboard 3 for
Keyboard
Tessus.
3.
John G says in the chat, don't worry, he doesn't need it. I think he's looking for any advantage he can get.
Yeah, well see, the thing is...
Like the point-and-click adventure.
If people were follow John G on social media at all, or any of the Bad News Bears guys, I think Kaplan was talking about it getting into this game, about how Bad News Bears are putting themselves out there to get signed for an organization right now. You're probably not going to do it by getting 16-1'd, right? And you're here against some of the best teams in the world, so any performances that they can put down that are convincing is what we're looking for. But this is not the greatest of starts, and obviously having Junior come in for PTR, who's off on a bit of a poker career now, I think Junior, we know from his Fury days, would have a lot more experience for the team, but just to come in as the AWPer and be expected to carry, which I'm not sure is what was expected, but it would be nice. It's not an easy feat.
Certainly not. And, you know, you throw not only Junior's arrival, but I'm pretty sure Sheikh Zula was a temporary 5th. At least that was how it was initially announced. It was like coach returning to player to stand in.
There's been a lot of chopping and changing over there in North America.
Yeah, I don't know what their final setup will be and whether or not this reflects it. I do think I'm glad to see Junior, you know, in a roster that, well, I think you were actually telling me you messaged him.
Yeah, I did. I sent out some messages to some players to try, because we are coming out of the player break, right? We don't just have the match history to go off of. I wanted to reach out and say, hey, how long have you been pracking for? What's the prac look like? So I reached out to Junior. Let me just double check what he said here so I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth. They're at the Godsend facility, so big thumbs up to Godsend for hosting Bad News Bears. Practice for about a week is what he's telling me, and he said he feels that he thinks as an AWPer in this team he should be more comfortable than in the past. And showcase his skill set better than before. Now, obviously, map number 1, not looking that way, but there's a lot more games to play. They still have 4 more matches. They still have another map coming up here. So hopefully we get to see Junior thriving, because we caught a couple of his games back last year. And, you know, he's looking very handy in North America on that AWP. I don't think he was a slouch on Furia, but that whole language barrier. But let's get this one back underway. 15
They're going
to
for
1.
the classic A hit. 4 bodies starting to congeal on the A defense, and Junior's going to be there at least to back him up with the scout, the only real kind of primary weapon, everyone else on the sidearms. Let's see if they can extend play as they're about to be tested. John G forced to smoke out. Refresh already has been taken, tagged down by the scout. It's Tessus AK, though, to draw first lethality. And they're just happy to start the crawl. Tessus going to be the pointy end of the spear. And that needs to be a precise headshot, and it is. Spongy confirms Jungle's a problem. Wallbangs are coming in left and right. He's running out of options. And nades, bullets galore. And this one will just wrap up for a 16-1, unless Sheikh Zula and Junior can pull out a double apiece. Look how calm this has been. Like, they just slowly crawl out towards that sandwich position, isolate their frags, and now they're just looking to answer some questions. Process of elimination indicates CT. Oof, Cadian is going to finish things off with a bang, as will Heroic. Mirage, very quick, open and shut case, 16-1, as the defending champions of ESL Pro League start with a bang.